The next two items are, I'll read into the record together. The first is an application for a certificate of appropriateness in the Borough of Manhattan. It's at 40 Wooster Street, located within the Soho Cast Iron Historic District. It's docket number 161235, a store building designed by Buckman and Deisler and built in 1895-96. The application is to construct a rooftop addition. And item number 8 is docket number 168526. This is an application for a modification of use in bulk. Store building designed by Buckman and Deisler and built in 1895-96. The application is to request that the Landmarks Preservation Commission issue a report to the City Planning Commission relating to an application for a modification of use in bulk pursuant to Section 74-711 of the zoning resolution.
Good afternoon, Commissioners and the Waterloo Preservation staff. The item before you is for 40 Wooster Street in the Soho Cast Iron Historic District. The building is located mid-block between between Broome and Grand Streets. Excuse me. The proposal has two main components. It includes constructing a metal-clad rooftop bulkhead. It will be visible from the south over a two-story building that's right here. The corner is also currently vacant, so there are views from the opposite corner. However, the Commission has approved a two-story building at 74 Grand Street, adjacent to that two-story building here. This is being filed in conjunction with an application for modification of use in bulk with City Planning. Along with the MOU, the applicant is filing for restorative work at all three facades. The only missing historic element at the front facade is the storefront, which they're proposing to replicate the historic storefront. They will also be repainting the metal wood elements to match the historic finish. Throughout all of the building facades, the applicant will be doing home maintenance repairs such as cleaning, repointing, patching, replacing masonry units, and the like. I would also like to note that the labels of the examples on page A3 of your handouts are in error, and they do not reflect the LPC permits that are noted. All of these examples have been approved or grandfathered additions, but the labels just incorrectly identify which permits go with which building. The project team is here to further discuss the proposal.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. Good afternoon. My name is Frank Angelino. I'm here on behalf of the applicant for, as you've heard, certificate of appropriateness and a report to the City Planning Commission for a change in use from the existing office use within 40 Wooster Street to use group 2 residential use. So both of those applications, should you approve the report, will be going forward with the City Planning Commission for the change of use. To get right to the preservation purpose, which is part of your purpose in determining the 74-711, I asked Lisa Easton, who is the preservationist consultant, to get into the process. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Lisa Easton of Easton Architects. I'm part of the team, as Frank mentioned. Our firm is here to present our methodology for restoring the portions of the building, and I will introduce Yossi Nanda, who is going to be talking about the design of the roof fabrication. So I'll just briefly take you through. Our site is located at 40 Wooster, which is on the east side of the block between Grand and Broome. And as Emma, she gave you a very good description of the altitude. So we have found historic documentation on what we plan to bring the storefront back to. Right now, it's these are the current conditions. So you see the storefront has been sort of bastardized over time. So we're bringing it back to its original historic appearance. In addition to that, we're going to be pointing all facades, not just the primary, but the secondary facades as well. We'll be restoring all the cast iron features of the building, as well as the ornamental metal features, which include some of the pintels on the rear where the fire shutters once were, as well as all the new fire escapes. We are approaching the windows as restorative and replication because the majority of the windows have actually been replaced over time. We will be replacing the primary facade windows with mahogany windows. They'll be custom made. We're restoring the frames. We'll be replicating the original configuration and light pattern. And the way we propose doing that. It's how we've always done our work, which is we propose using a laminated glass assembly versus an insulated glass assembly. So you can replicate the true divided light nature and the true appearance and the true configuration and operation. In addition to that, we have some terracotta features, which we'll be repairing, replicating, and patching. We'll also be doing a cleaning and graffiti removal process on the building. So Emma also indicated that these images were really meant as part of our precedent study, and there was a compilation of much more series extended to 3 or 4 boards. And we just proposing these as examples to just establish the precedent in the neighborhood of what the context of Soho is like today. And there are rooftop additions that are part of the neighborhood in fact. And the majority of the permits that we looked at that had been approved proposed using glass and metal, and that's really what led us to inform the design team on the appropriate scale, material, and composition for how to approach the rooftop addition. So that really is the extent of our restoration. We're taking the whole envelope into consideration, and I would like to introduce Yossi Mohamed, who's the design architect for the rooftop addition.
Good afternoon, my name is Yossi Mohamed. When we first reached this design project, we kind of compared the existing condition of the rooftop right now as it is. And we realized that right now we have the bulkhead and the stairs on this side. We decided to actually flip the entire building core to reduce visibility and to move the rooftop addition to the other side, including an elevator. This way, the addition can be actually constructed and be tucked in a compact form to the side. You can see clearly here, this is existing, this is the proposed, most to the other side. The function itself, the addition has 2 components. One is an egress stair going all the way up and down to the building. And this is a private rooftop bulkhead with stair access into the roof. On top of that, we have the mechanical equipment in order to reduce and to have a compact form for the addition. This is the front of the bulkhead addition, which will not be visible at any point from the street, neither from the corner. We decided to go with to minimize the headroom to be minimal. Headroom will be here approximately 8 foot clear. Then we have a parapet of about 3'9" to hide the mechanical equipment on the roof. On the larger elevation here, this is the elevation facing south. This line here is dash line, replicate the building to be constructed at 74 grand. That will block this part of the view. In terms of materials, we looked around and we cast iron district and around neighboring buildings. We saw a lot of metal cladding, metal panels system that complements the building. We went with something very similar. We decided to go with large pattern of metal cladding in order to minimize any seams and texture. This is a comparison to show the building section, the existing pop-up on the roof. It's elevator bulkhead and the stairs. This is the proposed addition on the section. We constructed a mock-up, and the mock-up clearly shows the visibility of rooftop addition, especially here. This is the corner side of Grand and Wooster. This building here will be constructed, so the addition will be completely blocked and unseen. The only part which is going to be partially visible will be above this 2-story gallery here, which is going to have a partial visibility of the bulkhead. We did a test and we have a line here which replicates the slab of the new addition. And anything below that will not be visible, including the windows and the glazing and the metal. So you're just going to see part of this aluminum, sorry, metal cladding here. Instead of the model here, pretty much represent the new addition over here. This is the rooftop. This is Wooster and this is Grand. This is Grand, this is Wooster. This building right now is going into construction. It will block all the views from this corner here. And the only visible part will be partially from here, and you're gonna see only this line.
Any questions from commissioners? Is there any public testimony? Don't think so. Okay. Let me read, and then Mark will interpret the community board's vote on this. They voted to approve the work that's proposed, but notes that such approval should not be used to justify any future applications for change of use. And further, be it resolved that Community Board 2 Manhattan does not support issuance of a report by LPC to CPC that would state that the proposed preservation purpose of this application justifies a change of use and/or bulk, since buildings in these districts now have sufficient profit viability to support restoration and preservation for its own sake, without using it as an excuse for request for non-conforming use. Major preservation projects are undertaken monthly in other neighborhoods within our community board, and these applicants never seek zoning changes. The vote was unanimous, with 38 board members in favor of that vote.
So, Commissioners, this is the first time we've seen this, but apparently Community Board 2 is taking the position that 74-711 is no longer appropriate to justify changes of use. I would just point out that it exists now, that the preservation purpose in this case is also the cyclical maintenance plan, the bringing the building up to a sound first-class condition, to a higher level of restoration than we would normally require, and then it's perpetual maintenance over time, and that has sufficed to justify requests for 74-711s in the past.
Yeah, well, we have approved it in the past. The question is,
Absolutely,
the
correct.
board is
Correct.
objecting to this.
I mean, this is they're bringing up a different point, and that would be for city planning to decide whether, in fact, this is an appropriate, it should be applicable to this area or not.
So that means we shouldn't consider that part of the community board's
Well,
comment?
no, of course you should consider it. It's a testimony. It's just more, I'm trying to explain that they're taking a position that is a hard and fast rule, and I think that the issue here is that the change in use is not necessarily the preservation purpose that justifies our support for their request. It is the actual preservation work, the restoration work, and the cyclical maintenance plan that can suffice for the Commission's support for their application.
Right, so we look at the preservation issue, and if city planning wants to,
If city planning decides that there's no,
Check that, that's
yeah,
fine.
that's a different question, but this is, yeah.
Just one question. So there's no place in terms of visibility that you can see this bulkhead?
Yes, there
You
is.
can't see it from the front?
Oh, you can see
You
it.
can,
There was
yeah.
from the back?
It's
Yeah.
just
No, you
against
see it from the side. It's a two-story building.
About
If I may, only
Sure. It's against other buildings. that's
gallery here.
Oh, okay.
Small slab of 2 feet of that.
No, because then I just wanted to ask them about the height, because it seems that it could be lower, couldn't it? You know, you built, well, can't it be lower? I guess I'm asking, what is that height? Because you have the parapet wall too, right, which is
Yes.
what you're seeing.
Correct.
And your parapet wall could be something behind is bigger than
So
railing.
this is around 8 feet.
Yes.
And then the parapet extends above that, and you're catching the top bit of the parapet.
So without that, we'd be saying mechanical.
You'd be seeing
Correct.
mechanical equipment.
I think the
Oh,
mechanical-
the parapet is hiding.
And there is a much taller addition to the top of the building adjacent to it,
Yeah,
behind
it's
it.
against that, yeah. That's the main thing, I think, yeah.
All right. It sounds like then we're in favor of it. Do we need to go around and make comments, or just go right to it?
I'd just like to say that the restoration approach is impeccable, and thank you for that.
Good.
Okay, I forgot where we were, but Michael, you want to read this? There are two of them. Close the hearing first, yes.
So moved.
You have to read both.
Second, okay, hearing
Okay.
is closed.
Regarding 40 Wooster Street in the Soho Cast Iron Historic District, it is. Okay. Noting that the building style, scale, materials, and details are among the features that contribute to the special architectural and historic character of the Soho Cast Iron Historic District, I recommend approval, finding that no significant architectural features of the building will be eliminated or altered by the construction of the bulkhead, that the presence of a moderately sized rooftop bulkhead visible within incidental views from public thoroughfares will be in keeping with rooftop accretions typically found at industrial buildings throughout this historic district, that the bulkhead will only be visible from public thoroughfares from limited vantage points at a distance over a secondary facade of the building within the context of taller secondary facades of neighboring buildings and a variety of rooftop accretions, and that the metal cladding material, neutral gray finish, rectangular, regular form, and simple design of the bulkhead will be in keeping with the utilitarian character of rooftop accretions throughout the district and will help the bulkhead remain a discrete secondary presence.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No.
And
The second,
regarding 40 Worcester Street, Soho Cast Iron Historic District, this is an application to issue a report to City Planning Commission relating to the application of modification of use and bulk pursuant to Section 74-711 of the zoning resolution. I recommend approval too, finding that the restorative work to the approved pursuant to LPC 16-7730, including replacing storefront and filling windows, as well as masonry repointing, patching, cleaning, and painting the cornice and cast iron based on historic documentation, will return the building closer to its historic appearance, that the restorative work will reinforce the architectural and historic character of the building and historic district, that the restorative work will bring the building up to a sound, first-class condition and aid in its long-term preservation, that the implementation of a cyclical maintenance plan will ensure the continued maintenance of the building in a sound first-class condition, and that the owners of the designated building have committed themselves to establishing a cyclical maintenance plan that will be legally enforceable by the LPC under the provisions of a restrictive declaration, which will bind all heirs, successors, and assigns, and which will be recorded at the New York County Registrar's Office.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? No. Application passed.